I sit down and share some thoughts, recording into Johnny's Pip-Boy here. I don't talk about myself very much. Got into the habit of keeping my mouth shut for most of my life, unless I was doing a deal or talking to my dog. Yeah, a good Catholic Yuri figures a little confessional might do me some good, so I'm humoring him. I was born on the back of a trader's cart. My mom and my father were traders. Father was a stern man. He didn't smile very often. I think he had love in his heart, but he was tired. I think a few too many bad things had happened to him, and maybe a few too few good things. He did his best. My mom did her best. As I got older here, I realized that my folks were just people. It was a tough thing for me to realize that my father probably didn't want to have any kids. Hard to blame him. You look around, there's two-headed freak monsters running around, and half the beautiful places in the world, at least that I read about, all turned into glass. He and my mom had a honeymoon life, from what I gather, for a couple of years there, but, as best you can do with raiders and red scorpions clattering around. I think in their early days, they actually were pretty good for each other. Had a good thing going. I came along, and I think it coincided with my father realizing that he maybe had passed his peak. The best deals of his life probably were behind him, and I think he saw me as a symbol of the end. You get old enough, you can kind of see where a person's coming from. I took it personally when I was a kid, but I think I've gotten over it by now. He was just a frustrated guy. My mom died when I was 16, and it was pretty sudden. We think it probably was radiation. He and I were already not in a good place by this point, and I took it pretty hard. I'm grateful for the guy. He taught me how to shoot a gun. I watched him talk through some good deals. Usually if we'd get some damaged equipment, I'd try to fix up as best I could. We'd sell it for a few more caps, so he was happy about that. He liked to spend money. He couldn't hold on to it. It's a wasteland. What do you expect? Well, you set your place up like you're playing house. The repeated waves of stress and loss kind of got to him after a while. We had a dog as a kid growing up. It was a good dog. Followed us around through all kinds of shit. I always wanted to get a cat. I saw a couple strays out there, but could never convince any to get close enough. Or like a parrot. I always figured a parrot would be a good pet. It could squawk at you and tell you guys are coming or whatever. I knew a guy who had a monkey. I don't know where the fuck he found this thing. He trained it to throw poop at hostiles. And he always called it poop. Never shit. He called it poop. Problem was, when this monkey was in a bad mood, oh boy, it of course would throw poop at him. It was a short-lived relationship. Always amusing to go over there, though. Yeah, fast forward to the present time, I got myself a dog. Picked up Duke in the mess that used to be Denver. Dogtown, it's not a pleasant place to be. 3 or 4 years ago, I was passing through there. There was some raiders that were selling dogs for fresh meat, and I couldn't really let that slide, so I did expend some ammo on that trip. I got Duke out of a cage. He was this adorable little 6-week-old mutt. Hard to tell. I think maybe some pit bull or German shepherd in there. Half a dozen different breeds, probably. Of course, none of us have seen a purebred in a very long time. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm following in my father's footsteps a little closer than I'd like. When he was about 20, my mom told me he borrowed a cart from this asshole in town. You don't even want to know how many caps he paid just to borrow it. And he walked 600 miles to buy some rad roach meat, because he heard that they were buying tons of rad roach just one town over. He thought he'd double his money. Of course, he didn't bring any food on the trip. He thought he could forage, ended up not finding much, so he ate half of the rad roach meat on the way back. By the time he got it back, half of what was left had spoiled. So that was just sort of my father. Big ideas, never really able to follow through on much. My mom passed away at 16, I took off. I was pretty good with my .38 pipe rifle by then. My job was to keep the bloatflies away. I still hate them. Nobody pays a kid to talk or make deals though at 16, 17, so my first job after I ran away was to expand ammunition. Ran into a guy with 3 Brahmin calling himself a rancher. He wanted me to kill some bloatflies, so made a couple caps. Barely paid for the ammo. I had my shitty .38 pipe rifle with a scope on it. Shaved my head. Moved on. Upgraded my rifle stock. Had a few more jobs. Eventually put some boots on. Got in with some guys that I got some orders from. Go shoot some people, right? Someone powerful wants a little army. Long story short, moved on. Did that for another group. Did that for another group after that. Eventually figured out I would do it for myself. The funny thing about that though, for a while when you're in a group, it doesn't feel so bad if you miss your shot. Alright, so picture this. You're sitting with 16 young bucks. You got your firearms. You're up against some super mutants with Gatling lasers, right? You're in cover. Pew pew, fucking shit's going on. If you miss your shot, you can just hope the guys next to you made theirs. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you made the shot or not. There's just so much going on. But oh boy, when you go solo, if you miss your shot, you are absolutely alone. I'd rather be on a desert island than miss my shot when I'm the only guy in the field of operation. But I don't know. I never really had enough. I always just made do. Solo work has been hard. It was probably the toughest couple years I've had. Hanging by the skin of my teeth. Lost some teeth. Lost some friends. I genuinely did not mean to. Differences of opinion or differences of perception. Or in some cases, I legitimately fucked some stuff up. But in the last couple of years, I've made some of the best friends I've ever had. And it's important out here to make some friends, man. This is a hard life. If you can get yourself to a point where there's laces on your boots and food in your belly, good dog at your side. You have time to sit and read a goddamn book in a chair once in a while, with some pals watching your back. That is a nice goddamn feeling.
Thank you so much for watching Wastelanders, and if you liked this video, then please subscribe to WGNR on YouTube and consider heading over to my Patreon and Streamlabs pages. On Patreon, you can get exclusive rewards, including video shoutouts, access to polls which will help guide future WGNR content, and you can even become immortalized as a named character in a future WGNR video. If monthly donations aren't in your budget, then Streamlabs might be the way for you. There you can get some cool WGNR merchandise and make a one-time donation to help keep the channel alive. Your donations mean that I can make more content more often and continue to expand the type of programming that you get to watch on WGNR. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, WGNR will be back.